Good morning, guys, gals. Welcome back to SOS. I didn't know how to start this video this morning. Actually, I've restarted this video about 6 times now and trying to get what I wanted to say right. I I don't want to babble. Some folks say that they said go do ramble, because sometimes rambling it makes more sense. And some people say, if I just start talking about stuff, it seems to sink in better than me showing stuff. And I almost did a show and tell this morning. I said, you know what? It's early, and I said, you know what? I could just go to the grocery store and sort of talk about this while I'm going through the grocery store, and I'm grabbing little things like I'm grabbing some extra butter and little things. And I don't have a big list. I don't have a big list. And I'm not, some folks say that, yeah, I'm a survivalist channel. And also it's like survivalist prepper sort of thing. But I take you through day in the life, what I'm doing every single day. Every single day, this is what I'm doing. This is my therapy. This is what I do to get my mind off everything else. I have to do things to keep my hands busy, okay? And I've reintroduced myself so many times, and I'm not doing it again. This isn't what this video is about. I've explained how this channel started so many times, and I'm not doing it today. The thing is, I've had folks say, "You're a survivalist channel. We should all be freaked out because you're just over here building a bookshelf. Lord save us all." And ridiculous comments like that. You plan on reading a lot of books during the Great Culling? Really? All right. First off, whoever decides to come kill me is really stupid, and they better not interrupt me while I'm reading my book. I'm just saying. I think about stuff like that. It, the, human culling, okay? Human culling. All right. So you create a virus, Chinese, whatever, to cleanse the population, right? To population control, and culling goes into livestock, you know, bring them in and slaughter them. And we look at it like that. It's like the coyote population or something, right? It's like the great culling. You're going to have to get this done, or this is going to happen. And they're overpopulated. You have to thin out the herds. And culling goes into so many different things. And people, I don't think anyone's ever done a SHTF type video, the great culling, human culling. I don't do videos where I scare the crap out of people, and I definitely do not do videos, well, you should have known better, and you should have done this, and you probably should have done that, and look at all the things that I have, and I don't have to worry about it. That's not what this is about. There's too much of that stuff going on. There's too much fear and panic. I don't fear. I don't panic. I'm right with the good Lord. If he's going to take me, he's going to take me. That's all there is to it. And yeah, I'm going to spend the rest of my time living. I'm going to spend, you can be a prepper and have a life. You can be a survivalist and have a life. What is a survivalist? Someone who thinks of every one of the angles and strategically plans for whatever could happen. This isn't prepping. Prepping is different than survivalist, right? And, I've been teaching seer and all kinds of weird stuff for so long that, you think of all the freaking angles. you know, do you have 1,000 rounds per gun in your home? Do you have this? Do you have that? That's stuff. But you got to think of all the other angles. What do I do when I fire my last shot? What am I going to do after that? Well, you should have been using the bow in the first place instead of wasting all your ammo. And I'm not trying to go into movies and stuff. It's reality and training. If you train hard enough, you can do all kinds of stuff. You can do almost anything if you just put your mind to it and train. You're going to have to practice. This isn't something that you just say, you know what, I've had enough beers in me. I think I'm going to start throwing knives now. That's not how this works. It's not how any of it works. And too many folks think that they can just pick it up right away. Well, it's not like that. You're going to have to practice. You should start practicing. And if we're entering into this global pandemic, And I've been getting comments on old videos, medical martial law from like 2 years ago and stuff. This makes sense now. Sippy did pandemic videos years ago. I think like 3, 4 years ago. I think she did her first pandemic video, and people are saying that, you know, the comments that I'm reading now, people are commenting all of a sudden. It's like on these videos, and I was like, man, these are old videos. It's like now they're just now finding these things. We talked about this stuff years ago, and there's no sense to sit and, you know, make fear mongering videos, panic videos, and all this stuff. It's stuff that happens. It plays out. It plays into fears, and what it goes back to what the Nazis did. I mean, it goes back to Gestapo. It goes back to how they control the population with fear. They start throwing numbers out there. Are those numbers accurate? How do you know those numbers are accurate? How do you know? And this isn't the flu. Uh, this is a type of respiratory infection that can be carried in the body for weeks. Okay, it's not like the flu or anything. It can be carried in the body for weeks. I mean, so they can, you know, if this was all some sort of conspiracy and planned, there's a lot of folks mentioning a lot of different things, and I'm just trying to touch base on each one of them instead of replying to all the comments over and over and over and over. It gets hard to catch up and play every single little comment. So I just try to base it all in one thing. If it is something like that, I mean, the carrier's not going to know that they have it for, you know, a few weeks, possibly. I don't think anyone really has the data on any of that stuff either. So there you go. And if it plays into that, then it plays into that. And you know, I've went as far as, you know, the things that Sippy and I need. Were, you know, I'm getting ready to head to the store and grab a few items, and it was, you know, so that was part of another conversation that Sippy and I kind of have. That it's like, well, what would we want more of if we ended up having to stay bugged in, you know, for whatever reason? You can't go outside for whatever reason. If it really got that bad, then I'm definitely, you know, I'm not that channel. It's going to be like, well, you should have prepared. I've been doing this so long that, you know, I get to think, well, how much rice do I have? How much of this do I have? How much of that do I have? And, you know, how many buckets of this and how many buckets of that? I don't have to sit there and go, well, I better go buy the whole store out of rice right now. I'm not that, we're not at that level. You know, it's somebody else probably is. They're going to go buy the whole, you know, they're going to panic buy. And I got my tax return. I think I'm going to go buy the whole store out of rice. For me, it's, I, I would like to have a couple more packs of butter, and, you know, I was thinking maybe a couple more packs of cheese. I got to make it to, you know, through the summer at least. I want to make sure I can make it through the summer. And it's little things like kids shampoo. You know what I mean? That's the kind of stuff that I'm not trying to point that out or anything. It's just that's where we're at. That's the kind of stuff I'm trying to figure out. I'm not sitting here looking for the bulk items of craziness. It's just not like that. Survivalist, if you've been doing it for a while, you've been thinking of every angle. You've already planted caches throughout multiple counties, and you're prepared for routes to take and things like that. I am trying to upgrade the comm system in the truck. And I need to quiet that thing down. It's a bit too loud, but I don't like that. It does sound cool, but it's just you. I need an infrared camera too. That's another video I need to make. I need some infrared. I'd like to be able to roll at night and stuff. There's a lot of things I'd like to do, and I want to take folks through stuff like that. I'm getting off subject. I'm rambling again. Folks say they like it when I ramble though. But a lot of these comments, if you go into medical martial law, and, you know, I'm using the example in one of my older videos about vaccinations and things like that, how they could force vaccinations on folks. Well, that's that. And you could force quarantine. You could force a lot of different things. And when I say martial law, then you have every single swinging Richard commenting, there's no way that they could do martial law over the entire United States. With enough coordination, if you look at, you got to look at the numbers of every single thing. You can't just look at the numbers of one group, one organization. And with cameras, there is control. It's like a giant God's eye worked with a God's virus. It works just like that. I don't think people ever see the big picture. They all see this one angle, this one angle. Well, military, you know, that's it. That's it. Okay. All right, cool, man. You thought of that. What about everybody else? What's everybody else going to do? Sit on their hands while this is going on? There's cameras. If there's cameras, there's control. Hey, so and so just left out the east gate. You know what I mean? You would know exactly. Radios, you can't outrun them. There's so many things that this falls into. Amber alerts. I know it's affiliated with something totally different. I've mentioned that several times, how fast an email goes out from a congressperson. You know, someone in Congress could put out an email or a mass text message to everyone to answer, reply yes or no to something. We're at another level now. There's satellite imagery. You can pinpoint, and I'm not saying this is a Patriot game, but you could pinpoint accurately, pick out individuals and know exactly where they are. If you don't think that someone hasn't set up long hours at night and drank a lot of coffee and sat at a round table with a group of people that could work with United Nations, I'm just saying, someone has already thought of it and they have that all figured out. And there's too many folks out there that I don't know. They just don't see. They just don't see all of it. That's the difference between survivalist and, you know, your just prepper Joe. You know, just Joe the prepper. You know, Billy the prepper. You know, Phil the prepper, Bob the prepper, whoever it is. Anyway, you got to think of every single angle, and you'll have to get in some sort of mindset like that. But like I said, I'm not going to sit here and panic about it. There's no reason to panic. Everyone needs to calm down. And if everyone gets issued a control number and card or whatever it is for you to be in your area, well, then that's just what's happened. And there's no escape. There's probably no bugging out. You know, you could run to the hills and then, you know, there's only a matter of time they start getting marshals involved and all kinds of weird stuff. And at some point, some way, I'm just saying. And if this is some sort of, and I highly doubt there's going to be a human culling. I highly doubt that's ever going to happen. But time will tell, right? They already have robotic tanks. I mean, they have um, they have unmanned tanks, unmanned drones for water, and all kinds of weird stuff. But that's when you start getting into crazy science fiction and stuff. But this is things I think about. Okay, so don't shoot the messenger here. Right? Some folks enjoy these little crazy sidewinder things, and then some folks don't. If if this sort of thing caused like a financial collapse and things like that, you really have to start looking at all the angles of weird stuff like that too. Because grid down, water's down. If people start getting sick and then they're afraid to go to work, right? And then the system, the machine shuts off. The machine being our daily lives, everything that functions, your power, your water, all that crap. You know, trash guy doesn't come pick up your trash anymore. I don't have a trash guy, but that's what happens when you live way out in the sticks, anyways. But I don't have a trash guy, so I got to deal with that stuff already. I'll have my own problems to deal with. Anyways, what we do with all these bodies? Well, they shouldn't have broke in anyway. So think about all that, and then if that happens, what do you do next? And where do you see yourself at that point? Are you going to have to embark on excursions? Are you going to have to go out in the city and scout? Are you going to have to bring back medical supplies and stuff like that? You That's if everything wakes up like Stephen King's The Stand, right? What'd they do? They had to go into the city and start figuring out ways to turn the power back on and stuff like that. If you get to thinking about that, and then there's the Wuhan virus or whatever. I mentioned it the other day to Team Foco, and uh, I I thought it was kind of funny. That book popped right in my head as soon as I saw his comment there. And it's like, I was like, you know what? You remember it was Dean Koontz. Dean Koontz wrote a book back in I think '81. It was on the Wuhan virus. That is almost it. It was weird because they combated it, and then all of a sudden, what was it like years? It was years later. I can't really remember. The book was written in '81. Okay, I have a lot of books from the '80s that are really good. So combatant it, then it died out, and then it came back like full scale and just started killing everybody. It that kind of it just it's just like this SARS, and then it went away. It was like back in '03 and stuff, and everybody just kind of forgot about it. And that was a form of coronavirus. And now look at it, boom! Like, what's going on? Now there's death tolls. What happened? It's just everything's starting to sound like that Dean Koontz book. It's weird. Anyways, this is my crazy. I should have worn my tinfoil hat, but I forgot. And this is my crazy. Don't panic. Don't be scared. Don't be freaking out. And don't hate the messenger. Don't kill the messenger. I just, I, I just want to keep you guys informed with ideas, fresh ideas, and give you something to think about and really focus on. And trusting people is going to be hard and things like that. There's so many topics. There's so many comments I've received that just make these massive amount of, I didn't want to do anything real long today, but I apologize. I don't want to scare anybody, but I want to give you some food for thought and stuff you can conversate with your friends with. All right. God bless you guys. I love you, and take care and try to have a beautiful day. All right. God bless.